Welcome to Life in the 1900s newspapers, where I read the printed words of old newspapers. So let's hop into our time machine and read today's paper. It is the Star and Sentinel from Gettysburg, Pennsylvania, dated Wednesday morning, July 20th, 1904. This is a free country. This is a perfectly free country. A Norristown judge has just decided that a girl has a right to sit on her young man's lap. A New York judge has given an opinion that a boy may enjoy the privileges of snoring in church. A York judge has confirmed that the father of a girl has a right to throw her young man out of doors if he hangs on later than 11 o'clock. It has been judiciously determined that a man does not have to have his mother-in-law in the house. A 16-pound carp. On Tuesday, Bert Bowling captured a 60-pound carp in Tom's Creek near Emmitsburg. Mr. Bowling saw the monster fish lying in the creek, and he ran a 4-tined fork through the fish. Mr. Bowling was unable to land the struggling fish without assistance. It required all his efforts to hold it fast until help arrived. It required the work of 2 men to get the fish out of the water. Reunited after years. Father and son believed each other dead in Johnstown flood. Richard Paget and his son Herbert, separated since the Johnstown flood 15 years ago, and each convinced of the other having been lost in the catastrophe, met Tuesday on Young's Pier, Atlantic City. They were residents of Woodville, which was swept away in the flood. The son, a child at the time, was seen by his father to disappear into the water. Paget, the elder, disheartened by the calamity in which he lost his business, returned to Scotland, his former home. The boy went to Denver, Colorado with relatives. Recently, he was employed in a mining corporation with headquarters at Battle Creek, Michigan. Mr. Paget came over from Scotland on a business trip and came to the shore on a visit. The father recognized his son in the theater, and after the performance, the 2 men met outside, where, through an exchange of memories, the relationship was established. Here's an unusual article. Darning needle in his leg for years. After being troubled for several years with a peculiar affection of the leg, Amos Rogers, age 48, of Sterrett's Gap, applied at the Harrisburg Hospital for treatment yesterday afternoon. With no visible marks of injury, the man was given an X-ray examination, and a large-sized darning needle was found embedded in the muscles of the calf of the leg. An operation was performed and the needle removed. Don't want colored excursions. The Western Maryland Railroad Company will be asked to discontinue excursions of colored people to Chambersburg. Burgess Sharp is determined, in view of the great disorder upon a recent occasion, to give the railroad company warning that it must not dump irresponsible and riotous crowds upon this community. He has prepared a petition for presentation to the Borough Council, which body will be asked to bring the matter to the notice of the railroad officials. The petition is being largely signed by businessmen. The Jim Crow car law is now in effect in Maryland, and as a result, the Cumberland Valley Railroad Company is compelled to run 4 such cars. number 40, 42, 43, and 44. In one end of these cars is a partition cutting off 6 seats, 3 on each side, in which colored people must ride while the train is in Maryland. One of these cars is on every train from Harrisburg through, taking the place of the first-class coach. Deer Park Hotel, Deer Park, Maryland. The famous Allegheny Mountain Hostelry opened June 18th with prospects for a brilliant season. The 12 cottages have been renovated and painted inside and out. 2 of the choicest can be secured if application is made at once. Many suites of rooms have been engaged in the hotel. The popularity of this resort is due to its splendid location, 2,800 feet above sea level, out of range of malaria and mosquitoes. Every convenience is provided for guests, delight for rooms, and an excellent cuisine. The hotel is provided with all modern improvements for comfort, like bowling alleys, billiard rooms, tennis courts, golf links, swimming pools, etc. for amusement. An entirely new livery equipment has been installed. 3 solid vestibule trains each way daily with Pullman cars via the Baltimore and Ohio Railroad between New York, Philadelphia, Baltimore, Washington, Cincinnati, Louisville, and St. Louis. Stopovers allowed on all through tickets. Address: W.E. Burwell, Manager, Deer Park, Maryland. Unfortunately, the Deer Park Hotel is no more. Here's the sign marking where it was. Built by the B&O Railroad, opened July 4th, 1873, and operated until 1929 and raised in 1942. This was one of the most exclusive mountain resorts in the East. Many nationally prominent people, including 4 United States presidents, were guests here. Looking for an excursion point. Since York and Chambersburg have protested against the WMRR running Negro excursions from Baltimore into those places, General Passenger Agent F.M. Howell has been looking around for a good place to take the excursionists where they will disturb no one. Hendricks, near Hanover, he believes is a place for them, and excursions to that place might run. The Negro excursions are very profitable to the railroad company. Did you know people in the early 1900s fantasized about what the 2000s would bring, like mail by air? Here are some 1904 postcards from France that predicted the future. This one's not too far off the mark with the invention of the vacuum cleaner. Automatic grooming for the lady. And mechanized barber shops for the men. This one's my favorite. Early iPhones. Biglerville Items, July 18th. Lightning, on last Monday, struck the house of William Lower between here and Table Rock, destroying a portion of the chimney, passing on down into the oven of the stove, where Mrs. Lower was baking pies, playing some pranks with them and piling them up in one corner of the oven. The annual Adams County Picnic will be held at Mount Holly Park on Wednesday, August 10th. Several $1,000s have been spent in additional improvements to the park this season. Among some of them are the steam flying horses, the steam launch, 10-Pin Alley, which is as fine as any Philadelphia or New York, while many other improvements have been made, which makes the park one of the most pleasant places in southern Pennsylvania to spend the day. Oh boy, the circus is coming to town. Listen to what it featured. John Robinson's 10 Big Shows. Herr Schomit, strongest man on earth, holds on his shoulders a cycle dazzle weighing 2,800 pounds. Also, Adna, the only lady somersault rider on earth, 50 Sioux Indians in a war dance, 40,000 herd of performing elephants, mighty millionaire menagerie, 50 cages and gilded dens, 500 horses, 100 Shetland ponies, the grand biblical spectacle production, King Solomon and the Queen of Sheba, with 1,000 men, women, and horses in the cast, Grand Free 300,000 street parade, 5 bands of music, fife and drum corps, chime of bells, 50 cars and gilded dens, 29 tableau cards, 12 traps and 300 thoroughbred horses, 60 miniature ponies, steam calliope drawn by 40 ponies and driven by 1 man. Now's the time to stop eye trouble. You may need glasses. Have Your Eyes Thoroughly Examined Free by G.E. Jacobs. The value of spectacles depends on the skill of the person who fits them. 46 Chambers Street, Gettysburg, Pennsylvania. Local miscellany, short paragraphs of happenings in and about the town. The alarm of fire last night was caused by a slight blaze in the kitchen of Miss May Horner, who occupies rooms over the Italian fruit store in the Spangler Building. Judge Stewart of York on Monday decided that constables and policemen are entitled to a reward of $20 for the arrest and conviction of horse thieves under the Act of 1821. Here's a scoop. 3 pigs have been stolen from M.E. Zinn's pens in the rear of the Hotel Gettysburg recently. The thief made 2 visits. The first night, he succeeded in carrying off 2, and a few nights later, he came back and took another. Curiosities. Henry L. Kege of near McSherrystown has the following curiosities in his possession, which were hatched on his farm and which he has preserved in alcohol. A 4-legged chicken, preserved for 26 years. A double-headed chicken for 7 years, and a chicken with 5 bills and 3 eyes, which were hatched recently. Ew. Baseball. The game of baseball between the colored team from Hagerstown and the colored 9 of this place, played on Nixon Field Wednesday, was an excellent one, well played by both teams. The Carter Battery for Gettysburg did excellent work. The game resulted in 2-1 in favor of Gettysburg.